Emily opened the manila envelope again. Inside were the seven $20 bills she had just put in. Outside, on the street, her small fruit stand was getting soaked in the rain, and her overdue bills added up to more than what she earned in 3 months. She was 32 and hadn't been able to sleep more than 4 hours straight for the last 6 months. She had learned the envelope system only 9 days earlier. A customer at her stand, an older woman who bought mangoes every Thursday, had once told her something she never forgot. Money that has no name disappears without permission. Emily still didn't fully understand what that meant, but the words kept echoing in her head while she counted the cash she had just separated. 2 years earlier, Emily had left her job at a clothing store in downtown Phoenix to sell fruit on her own. The promise was simple. She would earn more. She would have flexible hours and could take care of her 8-year-old daughter. For the first few months, everything worked. She sold well, customers came back, and she felt like she finally had control of her life. But she never separated business money from personal money. Everything went into the same wallet, and from that wallet, everything went out. Rent, food, school supplies, transportation, and restocking merchandise. By the 6th month, she had already borrowed from her sister. After a year, she had a debt of $1,200 with a credit union that charged 3% monthly. And the worst part? She didn't know exactly where the money had gone. She only knew she worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and ended every month with less than she started. One afternoon in March, after checking her account balance and seeing that only $40 was left, Emily sat on her kitchen floor and cried. Her daughter was at school. No one saw her, but in that moment, she knew something had to change, even if she didn't know what. The following Thursday, the mango lady arrived early. Her name was Mrs. Thompson. She was 64 and had been an accountant before retiring. While Emily weighed the fruit, Mrs. Thompson asked how sales were going. Emily, without thinking much, told her everything. She talked about the debt, the confusion, the sleepless nights. Mrs. Thompson listened quietly. When she finished, she asked something simple. Have you tried separating your money into envelopes? Emily frowned. Envelopes. Mrs. Thompson nodded and explained. When she worked, she saw many people who earned good money yet were always in crisis. The problem wasn't how much they earned, but that they didn't know where their money was going. The envelope system is this. You decide in advance how much you'll spend on each thing and put that money in a labeled envelope. When it's empty, the budget is gone until the next period. Emily thought it sounded too simple to work, but that night, after putting her daughter to bed, she grabbed paper and a pencil. She wrote down her obligations: rent, food, transport, utilities, debt payment, merchandise, and a small emergency fund. She added everything. The total was $860 a month. Her average sales over the last 3 months had been $920. That left only $60 of margin. The next day, she bought 8 manila envelopes. With a black marker, she wrote rent, food, transport, utilities, debt, merchandise, emergencies, and personal. Her daughter watched her from the couch. What are you doing, Mom? Emily gave a small, tired smile. The first month was chaotic. She sold well in the first week and separated the money exactly as planned. $220 for rent, $180 for food, $50 for transport, $60 for utilities, $100 for debt, $250 for merchandise, $30 for emergencies, and $30 for herself. She put each amount in its envelope and stored them in a shoebox under her bed. The second week, a school bill arrived for $40. Emily opened the emergency envelope, took $30, added $10 from her personal envelope, kept $20 for herself that month, but she didn't touch the other envelopes. That was the rule. In the third week, a customer asked for a large pineapple and papaya order. Emily needed $110 wholesale. She opened the merchandise envelope and saw $110 left. Not enough. Before, she would have taken money from food or rent. This time, she didn't. She asked for half upfront. The customer agreed. Emily bought the fruit, delivered it, and put the net profit back into the merchandise envelope. At the end of the month, she counted everything. Rent, empty. Food had 12. Transport, 8. Utilities, empty. Debt, empty. Merchandise had 90. Emergencies had 5. Personal, empty. She added it up. 118. She knew exactly what she had and what it was for. But the debt envelope was a problem. $100 a month barely covered the interest. She wrote in her notebook, "I need to sell more or spend less." On the second Monday, she did both. She opened 30 minutes earlier to catch workers and cut $15 from food by buying more basics. Those 15 went into debt. Now she paid $115, 14 months instead of 18. But the biggest change was how she felt. When her daughter asked for $25 for a school trip, Emily didn't panic. She opened emergencies, saw the leftover 12 from last month, and said, "Yes, money with no name disappears. Money with a name has an owner." And now her money finally had one. The envelope system wasn't magic. It was a daily discipline and the decision not to touch money that already had a name. And it worked. Money with no name disappears. Money with a name has an owner. And now her money finally had one.